what you're witnessing is impossible.
A watch powered by a spring regulated by quartz with a hand that never ticks.
For over 140 years, one Japanese company has been rewriting the rules of time itself. They created the world's first quartz watch, revolutionized automatic movements, and invented technology that took 28 years to perfect.
This is not just a story about watches.
It's a story about obsession, innovation, and an unrelenting pursuit of perfection.
A story that began in a small shop and changed the entire world of watchmaking.
This is SEIKO.
Our story begins in 1881 in the Kyobashi district of Tokyo.
A 21-year-old entrepreneur named Kintaro Hattori opened a small watch repair shop. Hattori had a guiding philosophy: keep every promise, no matter how difficult. He dreamed of creating timepieces that could rival the finest watches from Europe. By 1892, just 11 years later, Hattori established his own factory.
He named it SEIKO-sha, meaning House of Exquisite Workmanship.
The name SEIKO itself means success in Japanese. It was prophetic.
Hattori implemented what we'd call an integrated production system today,
controlling every stage, from parts design to final assembly.
Within years, SEIKO-sha became Japan's leading timepiece manufacturer. In 1895, Hattori made a bold move.
He purchased a prominent corner in Ginza and built a clock tower. This wasn't just a store. It was a statement.
More than a century later, SEIKO still stands on that very corner.
In 1913, Kintaro Hattori saw the future. While pocket watches dominated, he recognized a new era was dawning. The Laurel was Japan's first wristwatch, an audacious undertaking. Foreign manufacturers had the advantage of decades of experience. But Hattori believed in staying one step ahead of the rest.
September 1st, 1923. Disaster struck Tokyo.
The Great Kanto earthquake devastated the city. SEIKO's office and factory were destroyed by fire. Everything was lost.
But from the ashes of tragedy, something remarkable emerged.
Just 1 year later, in December 1924, the first watch bearing the name SEIKO was released. This wasn't just a fresh start. It was a rebirth.
The year 2024 marked the 100th anniversary of the SEIKO brand.
Through the 1930s, SEIKO continued to grow and innovate.
World War II brought new challenges. Production shifted to military needs. After the war, Japan rebuilt. And so did SEIKO. The 1950s brought a new era of possibility. And SEIKO was ready to make its mark on the world.
In 1956, SEIKO introduced the Marvel.
For the first time, a movement designed entirely in-house from scratch.
It featured the revolutionary DiaShock shock absorption system,
protecting the delicate balance staff pivot from damage.
Its accuracy and stability surpassed anything Japan had produced before. SEIKO could now compete on the world stage.
In 1959, SEIKO introduced another breakthrough, the gyro marvel. Featuring the magic lever, an ingenious self-winding system.
A simple claw lever transmitted power from the rotor in both directions. So effective and economical, it instantly dominated the world market.
Remarkably, this mechanism is still used in SEIKO automatics today.
A testament to brilliant engineering that transcends decades.
High in the mountains of central Japan lies Nagano Prefecture. Here, in 1960, a small team received an extraordinary mission. Create the very best watch you are capable of making.
The result was Grand SEIKO. Designed to represent the absolute pinnacle of mechanical watchmaking. It had to deliver 3 qualities better than any other watch:
Accuracy, legibility, and durability.
The first Grand SEIKO met Swiss chronometer standards.
This wasn't just another product line.
It was a philosophy made tangible.
Every detail perfected. Every surface finished to the highest standard.
Grand SEIKO would become a legend in its own right.
1969, the race was on.
Multiple manufacturers competed to create the world's first automatic chronograph.
Swiss giants like Breitling, Zenith, and Hoer fought fiercely.
But in May 1969, SEIKO's 5-sport speed timer reached the market first.
The world's first automatic chronograph with a vertical clutch. And a column wheel, features watch enthusiasts prize to this day. It featured a bilingual day-date display in English and Japanese.
Once again, SEIKO proved innovation knows no geographical boundaries.
December 25th, 1969.
While the world celebrated Christmas, SEIKO unveiled a revolution.
The SEIKO Quartz Astron, the world's first quartz wristwatch.
This wasn't an incremental improvement. It was a paradigm shift.
The Astron achieved accuracy that surpassed mechanical watches by orders of magnitude.
The quartz revolution had begun.
The watch industry would never beat them.
Throughout the 1970s, SEIKO pushed quartz to unprecedented extremes.
In 1975, the world's first digital quartz watch with a chronograph.
In 1978, the first quartz diver's watch with 600-meter water resistance.
In 1982, a watch with a television screen earned a Guinness World Record.
In 1984, the first wristwatch computer. These innovations anticipated smartphones decades before the iPhone existed. In 1977, SEIKO introduced the world's first solar-powered analog watch. In 1988, they unveiled kinetic, converting motion into electricity. The perfect fusion of mechanical and electronic technology. Or so it seemed. In 1977, a young engineer named Yoshikazu Akahane conceived an impossible idea.
A watch powered by a mainspring but regulated by quartz.
He described it simply, like coasting down a mountain beside a pacemaker. Gravity provides all the energy. You only brake to match the pace.
The first attempt in 1982 produced a watch with only a 4-hour power reserve.
The integrated circuits consumed too much energy.
In 1983, the development team gave up. The prospects seemed hopeless.
Ten years passed.
In 1993, they tried again. Advances in technology gave them hope.
But even then, they could only achieve a 10-hour power reserve.
The breakthrough came with silicon-on-insulator technology. Reducing power consumption by nearly 100-fold.
Finally, in 1997, a 48-hour power reserve was achieved.
At the heart of spring drive lies the tri-synchro regulator.
The mainspring drives a conventional gear train. But instead of an escapement, there's a glide wheel spinning 8 times per second.
As it rotates through electromagnetic coils, it generates electrical current.
This powers a quartz oscillator vibrating at precisely 32,768 times per second. An IC compares the quartz reference with the glide wheel's actual speed. If spinning too fast, an electromagnetic brake slows it down.
This creates spring drive's signature, a hand that glides in perfect, fluid motion. Not the tick of quartz, not the beat of mechanical, something entirely unique.
Tragically, Akahane passed away in August 1998, at just 52 years old.
He never saw his creation reach the market. But in 1999, his dream became reality.
In 2012, SEIKO revolutionized watchmaking once again. The Astron GPS Solar connected to satellites over 20,000 kilometers above Earth.
Displaying accurate time in any of the world's 39 time zones, instantly.
Combined with solar power, it never needed a battery replacement.
SEIKO's innovation continues unawaited into the modern era.
In 2020, the Caliber 9 SA5 introduced the dual impulse escapement. Only the second non-lever escapement to be mass-produced in modern times. In 2022, the Kodo integrated a tourbillon and constant force mechanism on a single axis.
Ceramic cases withstanding depths of 1,000 meters.
Collaborations with traditional artisans, creating urushi lacquer dials.
Cloisonné enamel work, bringing centuries-old techniques to modern horology. Movements with 8-day power reserves, pushing the boundaries of mechanical engineering.
From affordable automatics to grand SEIKO masterpieces, SEIKO honors its founder's vision.
From a small Tokyo shop to a global force that shaped the entire industry.
Kintaro Hattori's philosophy became the company's DNA, passed through generations.
Every SEIKO watch carries this legacy forward, from entry-level to masterpiece. That gliding hand embodies SEIKO's philosophy, the seamless flow of time captured through understanding. Through 144 years, one truth remains. The pursuit of perfection is truly timeless. This is SEIKO.